Oh, hi there. I'd like to talk about a story that has happened and my perspective of it and how, for me, it seems a little strange. It's very hard to find the words to describe exactly what it is. Um, okay, well, we'll start here. On April the 15th, um, R. Lee Ermey, the guy who played Sergeant Gunnery Hartman in Full Metal Jacket, passed away. He died of pneumonia at the age of 74. Um, that's actually not an unusual thing. I mean, people in their, in that age and depending on certain situations, pneumonia can be quite troublesome. What's a little bit odd is on the 11th, I happen to have posted a clip on my social media, on my Facebook, of the Jelly Donut scene in Full Metal Jacket. Um, I didn't think of anything at the time. I just posted it, and then, and then I heard 4 days later that he had passed on. And, I didn't know him personally, so, I appreciated his role in Full Metal Jacket and Siege at Firebase Gloria. But, obviously I wasn't distraught or anything like that. Anyway, with my social media, I try to keep things not negative. I don't often, talk about death. I just don't do it. Um, anyway, a few days later, I mean, one of my favorite pastimes is I like to drink and I like to be on social media. Which is a bad idea actually, because there are a lot of people out there that can be very manipulative. But anyway, so I post a clip of Old Man Mose by the Swinging Blue Jeans. It's a song that, notes that there's an Old Man Mose that has passed on. I posted this on the 19th. It would seem insensitive, but as I was explaining, I didn't have any personal connection with R.L. Ermy, and I interpreted it because I'm on the Facebook, and information just comes and goes. I was in a different frame of mind when I put it up. I mean, some people would say, well, that's really insensitive for you to do that. But as I said, it's just a catchy tune in the way I think of it. Um, and that's not so much weird in itself as well. But another thing is, my friend's dad had also passed in hospice. He passed away on April the 6th. Now, my friend, I haven't spoken to him in a real long time. Probably last June was the last time I saw him. And the last time I tried to speak with him, which was via text, was October on his birthday when I offered him to buy him lunch. I offered him to do that. I do that every year because he's off doing his own thing, and I'm doing my thing, and he's been a little bit miffed with me for the last couple of years. I mean, we're friends, but he's been a little bit miffed. So he ignored my text, and I hadn't heard from him since. And on April the 2nd, I had posted a wrestling shoot on his Facebook page. A wrestling shoot is basically wrestlers who talk about certain events and their story behind it. And I happened to post Undertaker and him getting paid $500,000, and Kamala, his opponent at the time, I forget what event it was at, only getting paid 13,000. And I figured my friend, because he's absolutely he really likes wrestling. He knows like basically everything about it. I thought he would appreciate hearing, kind of the backstory of these sort of things, and it's on YouTube. There's a few different channels that have them. Um, it's Yeah, like my friend never told me that his dad was in hospice. I mean, I I've known his dad for over 10 years, to some extent. Uh, Tough old guy, but he did not look healthy the entire time I knew him because he looked like he smoked too much. That was the truth. Um, the thing is, like, from someone looking on the outside in, if they don't hear this explanation from me, it's really going to sound like I was being very insensitive. But the truth is, I just didn't know. And, it is a coincidence. Uh, I mean, I don't think I read anything about R. Lee Ermey having pneumonia. As a matter of fact, I checked his Twitter account to see if there were any previous, um, you know, him them saying that he was in, hospital or whatever, anything about pneumonia. I mean, I'd never checked his Twitter account. I mean, whenever I thought of him, I thought about the jelly donut scene, and I thought about other things, and obviously he was an actor, and yeah, that's just what I thought. I didn't think about him every day or anything. And I thought, well, maybe when I'd had a few drinks, I saw a snippet of something, and it sent a subliminal message to me. And I know that sounds odd to some people, but I mean, if you've seen some of my earlier videos, I told you I was in mental health in the psychiatric institution. No longer with those guys. Been much better in the last 16 months. But they are a powerful organization, and if they wanted to, they most certainly could prey upon someone who's escaped their grasp. In other videos, I compared it to the Sarlacc monster, and I was like the Boba Fett trying to get away. Um, it is totally possible that they have gone through my internet history and all that, and basically control what I see on social media. So, I mean, I entertained the thought of, was this subliminal messaging? Did somebody use a combination of words and I just didn't remember clearly, and it sort of manipulated me into thinking, or not thinking, but posting that Ermi had pneumonia. Because I don't believe in premonitions for say. I don't think that they're entirely, you know, all there. And I mean, my getting back to my friend and his dad passing, he knows I didn't know. He went out of his way to make sure I didn't know that his dad was in hospice. Um, like I said, I haven't even spoken to him since probably about June, and I think it was because I bumped into him downtown. And before that, I hadn't spoken to him for many more months. I did actually see a movie with him though. Goon 2, that's right. I saw Goon 2 with him, and it was very brief. Like we watched the movie and then he had to go. Um, and these are all just coincidences, but believe me, when I've had a few drinks and I'm looking on the computer screen, uh, I will not be manipulated or be sent subliminal messaging, because that's like I look at the Facebook, and I don't know if anyone else is as crazy as my one is when other people are talking to me. I would hope not. My one, the groups that I can join, a lot of them are really absurd. Like, I would highly recommend you stay away from the vegan Facebook pages. Everyone on there is some kind of a nut. I'm only on there because I've been, not feeling so well, and it's nice to kind of have conversation of any kind. Because the other ones I'm on are militaria ones, right? And it's strictly, is an item authentic? Um, People buy and sell stuff. I don't buy from them, but that's all those pages are about. So, I joined a vegan group just to see what people had to say. And I joined some political groups as well. And everyone on there is some kind of a nut. And it's like, there's so many double standards as well. Um, I got in trouble for saying a slur, and they said it was against their community guidelines, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, they were posting like stuff I don't even want to talk about. I'm not even going to talk about a lot of it really perverted, gross stuff, and I wouldn't want anything to do with it, and I should just quit those groups. But the thing is, I'm not getting any direct conversation on any of my social media accounts. I have over 400 videos, and I rarely get a comment on any of them. And I've basically been bedridden for the last 10 months because of my neck and all the bad things that accompany that with the psychiatric institution. That's a whole other story. Um, so this isn't a very good explanation of what has happened, but it's something that I'm saying it's a coincidence, and I really don't want to sound insincere or that I didn't care. I'm going to my friend's father's service to pay my respects, and I just don't want people on the outside looking in going, "Oh, this guy was a total jerk," and was a complete asshole and had really mean-spirited opinions, because I don't. And that's exactly the way that some of those creeps I was talking to on Facebook would pitch the story, just because they want to sully my good name, throw dirt at me, and they're like the worst of the worst. And I shouldn't even have to put up with them at all. I'd like to have normal conversations with people, but uh, you know, on the internet, for me at least, there's only crazy people to talk to, and you know, just I really ought to not drink and be on the internet at the same time. That's just a bad mix. And I would recommend that for anyone because it is a manipulative environment. And there are a lot of people on there who are very messed up. Like, I mean, I just told you the story of that woman with the picture she had and what she was able to do. It sounds like there are people out there who are trying to fucking get me in trouble, and it's like, fuck off. I just had a bunch of my own problems. Um, and I don't want this, you know, them to spin a story that just isn't true. Uh, and anyway, yeah, so that's just the story. Um, in hindsight, wouldn't have posted those particular things at this time had I known. Uh, my friend, he knows that though, and he's not bothered. He's invited me to come, so I'm going to pay my respects. It's very strange though. So anyway, gonna leave it at that. I guess good night.